Hello Automobiles. Today we are here with the TVS Jupiter. The model that we have here right now is the TVS Jupiter ZX. Now let's check out what the model has to offer, and I'll try to give you the most crucial details of the vehicle. Now to start with, the color that we have here is a stallion brown color, and it looks quite gorgeous in this. And this color is only available in the ZX trim of the Jupiter. So as you can see that the ZX trim also has quite a couple of distinguishing features that set it apart from the standard Jupiter. For starters, there are these beige panels that you can see right here, which look quite good and give it a handsome appearance. The ZX model also gets these emblems that are 3D emblems, and the ZX model also gets sync braking system, which is similar to Honda's combi brake system, that is the CBS. Now talking about the front profile of the vehicle, it looks quite contemporary. It is similar to all other vehicles of its class like the Honda Activa, but as you can see it's got a few sharper creases, sharper lines on the body. So what we have here in the front is this huge headlamp, which is of halogen type and is not an LED, unlike the LED setup that's being offered on the Activa 5G. It has these two standard mirrors which are black in color, the number plate up front, and two indicators on either side which do not have any pilot lamps. The pilot lamps have been placed here at the front above the headlight. At the rear, what sets apart the TVS Jupiter from other vehicles of its class like the Activa, etc., is the fuel filler tank cap. Now this is one of the most convenient features of the TVS Jupiter. What it allows you to do is fill petrol onto the vehicle without raising the seat. That's right. So you do have to get down the seat, but you can just use the key to unlock the petrol filler cap, and that's about it. Besides that, the rear of the vehicle is flanked by a tail lamp, which is not LED in nature, and it is also flanked by two indicators on either side. There's the number plate right here. Now moving on to the side profile of the vehicle. The right side of the vehicle is has a standard TVS Jupiter emblem, and below that sits the exhaust, which has a CVTi labeling on top of it. Now one thing that I would like to show you here is you'll notice the absence of suspension, that is a conventional suspension on this vehicle which you would see on vehicles like Activa, etc. Now the reason is that this guy here has a mono suspension. Yes, it's got gas charged mono suspension, so the Nitrox gas charged mono suspension that you see on new upcoming vehicles or motorcycles. So that gives it a really good ride quality, both in low speed and high speed. Now moving on, you'll see that TVS has given the foot pegs a really good touch, and they're really sturdy, of really high quality. You'll also notice that the beige panels have been extended right to the back, which gives it a really premium feel. Now coming onto the center of the vehicle, as you can see there's somewhat of a mesh right here, and it looks like it's to give the engine some bit of an inlet for fresh air to come in and cool down the engine. You can also see that there is this luggage handling lock, which allows you to lock your luggage onto this and secure it so that it doesn't move about, and it has a capacity of a maximum of 3 kilos. Similarly, there's another retractable hook right here, and again this hook right here is also quite sturdy and is retractable in nature, like I mentioned, and it can also handle baggage weight of 3 kilos max. On either side of the center panel you can see the choke button, which is the conventional choke button. On to the right you have the ignition key fob, It has three modes. One is obviously the lock mode, and the off mode, and the on mode. And as with most other vehicles that you must have seen, you can use the key, the magnetic part of it, to secure the locking mechanism. Now, this is the view of the cockpit of your TVS Jupiter. It's quite basic, doesn't have any digital instrumentation, but what it does have is a cool feature, that is the pass light, which is not present in any of the other scooters in this class or any other class for that matter. This pass light usually is used for oncoming vehicles to let them pass, and also this light allows you to get the high beam on while being on the low beam as well. There's a horn button right here. There's the indicator button, which is not one touch. There's the self starter button, and this is your speedometer and fuel meter with the odometer. Now if you notice, there's this eco light here, and right below that is the power light. Now this comes into play while you're driving the vehicle. It pops up the power light whenever you try to accelerate the vehicle, so it tells you that you're not probably going to get the best fuel economy out of your vehicle once you do that. Besides that, there are the usual indicators: the left indicator light, the right indicator light, and there's a low fuel indicator also on one of these. The thing with TVS Jupiter is also that you get the buzzer. The turn indicator buzzer is standard, so you don't have to purchase it or add it onto this vehicle separately. Now let's visit the other side profile of the vehicle. This is where you get to enter the key so that you can open the fuel filler cap and also unlock the seat. So, as you can see here, the key has two modes. If you switch it to the right, it will open the seat so that you can keep your helmet and other belongings. If you switch it to the left, as you can see, there's an indicator for fuel, and it will open the fuel filler cap. So let's try this out first. Let's try the fuel filler cap. And instantly the fuel filler cap opens, and this is how you fill your fuel. Of course, just a small switch, and then it goes back in its position. Now going back to the seat opening mechanism, switch it to the right, the seat opens with a click, and there you go. So this has approximately 17 liters of storage space. This will allow you to put a full face helmet as well. I've tried that out myself. Here you go. There's a half face helmet, but I can also assure you that a full face helmet will fit in. I've tried it out myself. And as you can see, if I shut the seat, it closes with a click without a problem. Now what this vehicle will also provide you with is a center stand, which is quite easy to use compared to other vehicles. It doesn't take a long time to get used to. Now the other thing with this Kickstarter is that it's also quite convenient to use. If you're on the center stand, it just requires one kick down, and there you go, it is started. Now this also allows me to give you a chance to listen to the exhaust note, which is quite throaty for a scooter of this class, and it will not disappoint you. And you can also notice here that the moment you accelerate, try to accelerate, the power indicator lights up. Another feature we're talking about is the parking brake system. Now you have seen parking brake systems on most other vehicles, but generally the switch quality on these parking brake systems is quite flimsy. On this one it's quite easy to operate and is also of very good quality. So the only thing that you need to do is press back on the rear brake lever and pull this switch in position, and that locks your rear brake. And the only way to release this, the only thing that you need to do is pull back harder on the rear brake lever and you will see this unlock. Apart are its large wheels. Now the wheels that you find on most other vehicles like the Activa in its class are all 10-inch wheels which do not have alloys on it, but for the Jupiter they've kept alloys as standard. So as you can see that these large black alloy wheels, which are the black color is standard, and the black alloy wheels look really good on this vehicle. And yeah, and it also gets telescopic suspension, by the way, which is not available otherwise on other scooters. They all get normal suspension. So this allows for a really good ride quality alongside the monoshock suspension that I spoke to you about earlier. Now this combination of the front telescopic suspension and rear monoshock suspension makes the ride very plush and comfortable. The handle is lightweight too and makes the scooter feel very nimble but sure-footed. Overall, the riding dynamics of the scooter are quite pleasant. Now, if I really had to find faults with this vehicle, you cannot even talk about the disc brake variant not being present there because it is available now on the ZX version and above. But the only thing that I really miss on this vehicle is the absence of an LED headlight. Besides that, the other thing that's really a miss from this vehicle and that's becoming standard these days is at least a digital odometer, if not the speedometer. That would have given this vehicle a complete features. One of the other features that's available only on the Jupiter ZX and the model above it, the Classic, is the presence of a Duracool seat. Now, according to TVS's claims, the Duracool seat keeps your seat cooler by 10 degrees than conventional seats or seat covers. How it does that, it is really not known to us, but what we can tell you is this seat is definitely more comfortable than the standard black seat that's available on the standard variant. And at all times we have observed that the seat is cooler than you expect it to be when it's kept out in the sunlight. Also, what it really does well is it blends in with the beige panels and gives it a really nice look overall. So there you go guys, that was the TVS Jupiter review video. If you did like the video, please give it a like, and if you have any other questions that I can help you answer, then put a comment below the video. If you like the video and you want many more videos like these to appear on your timeline, then please hit the subscribe button and also share my channel with your friends. Until the next video, it's a goodbye from me.